Hi, I'm Renee Christensen, author of Training Them Wisely, Discipling Kids, and this is
Rebecca Messer.
And this is the Training Them Wisely, Discipling Kids podcast, where each week we talk about ways that we can disciple our kids and grow in our faith. Today's topic, though, is a little different. It's a little fun.
A little spicy.
A little spicy, yes it is.
I promise her I'll behave. Mostly.
Fun, romantic date nights with your husband.
Why does romance matter in discipling your kids?
Yeah, why does romance matter? I like the way you said that. Why does romance matter whenever we disciple our kids, Rebecca?
Why? She's going to ask me. So it matters because the relationship between a husband and a wife is the earthly reflection of the relationship with Christ and the church.
Yep. And it's discussed in Ephesians 5. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So it's important that we mirror a good relationship in our marriage for our children.
Because we're imitators of Christ.
Yes.
And so we get to demonstrate for them in a very real and tangible way that they can see with their eyes.
Yes.
How Christ loves the church and how the church is supposed to interact with Christ.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the husbands romancing the wives, but it's also the wives romancing their husbands.
Yeah. It's the husband sacrificing for the wife, loving his wife, romancing his wife.
Yep.
And the wife respecting and loving her husband in return.
Yeah.
Because love is important.
And it's okay to initiate as the wife too.
It is. And we have bunches of fun ideas. But first we'll go through the scriptures. Then we're going to have some practical, fun date night ideas.
And
even if you don't have a babysitter.
Our blog act together, there'll be an article.
Yeah.
That you can find.
The blog's actually started. I've been writing a few things. So we'll make sure that the list of all of this is also placed onto the blog so that you have access to date night ideas.
For some fun. So one of the verses is found in Proverbs 5, verse 18. It says, "Let your fountain be blessed and rejoice in the wife of your youth." And I just love that because it literally means take joy in your wife. Enjoy her. Part that we'll skip because of young listeners, but it also says to be intoxicated always in her love.
Yes.
And Gideon is always looking at me. He cracks me up and he's like, "It's my responsibility to love you." And he gets this grin on his face and he's like, "It's my responsibility." I'm like, "Yes, I understand you." How beautiful and pleasant you are, O loved one, with all of your delights.
Delights. Which verse was that?
That is found in Song of Solomon 7 verse 6.
Yes.
I will leave Song of Solomon alone after that. 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way, showing honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered.
And that is really important.
Romance, loving your wife matters because it affects your prayer life.
And prayer matters. Prayer is important in spiritual warfare, as we've been talking about. And you learn in Ephesians, we are supposed to be constantly praying. There is true power in prayer. Prayer matters, and we should all love to pray.
We should, yes. 1 Peter 4:8 says, "Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins." I have found sometimes when I'm a little bit testy or temperamental towards Gideon, I need to turn up the romance factor a little bit and the love. And I remember, and it does, you kind of forget about
as soon as
we start walking down romance memory lane, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, I like him."
Yes. My husband has a funny thing whenever I am occasionally grouchy in the morning, and he says, he starts calling me his Southern Belle in a really Southern accent. "Oh, my Southern Belle." Help me remember to switch to get a little happier. It's a nice gentle nudge to be loving,
to get it in check. I also like this one for the wife perspective. It's Proverbs 12:4. "An excellent wife is the crown of her husband.
Yes.
But she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones."
Yes.
And if women are not careful, we can shame
Mhm.
our husbands. This is something I have tried very hard to avoid, like the plague that Proverbs says it is, because how I treat and interact with my husband affects him more than anything else in this life almost does.
And how you encourage him, how you build him up, how you support him. It helps him at work. It helps him in his day-to-day everything. Whenever Eric's having to pull the weight in more ways, and I am not being loving and everything he does, he gets stretched thin.
Yeah.
Versus being able to.
And I just love that, like, it says that is the crown of her husband. Like, we get to be the glory and the sparkle, and we get to add the pizzazz. Like, we reflect on him.
We do.
And it's fun to get to be a good reflection and to be that delight.
That he can rejoice in. It's like there's a verse about the nagging woman that's like the dripping. Yeah. Don't want to be that.
Don't want to be that. And, you know, it's fun because, like, my husband and I, we just celebrated 5 years, and we went out to dinner, and they got this, the owner, I said something, I was like, yeah, we're celebrating 5 years. She's like, oh, wait, I have an anniversary sign. So she got this little happy anniversary sign and set it on our table. But we had to put our phones away, and we were just engaged with each other. And there were a couple of older couples that had stopped by our table, and they were like, oh, happy anniversary, like, how many years? And they were many years ahead of us. But the comment or the reflection was of how happy we had looked and how much we were enjoying each other. And even at Walmart last night, I just tucked my arm into Gideon's arm, and I just leaned over on him, and he bent down and he gave me a kiss. And I saw this older gentleman on the checkout aisle across. He just kind of grinned. And it's fun to, in little ways, spark. Like, your kids shouldn't be looking at you and going, what did you just do? Like, did you just kiss daddy? I would much rather have the kids that are going, oh, they're doing it again. Like,
that's what I do.
And you're like making out in the kitchen with your husband, or like dancing around, like, enjoy it. Enjoy each other. There's so much in this life that's just ugh.
And as we're doing this, because I have kids aged 5 through 25.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have started thinking recently about the fact that, yes, we're the reflection of the church. Also, the example that we give in our marriage relationship is the example that our children see as they move on. They have set
for their marriage relationship if they get married one day.
Exactly. And that matters too.
And it's just like, who doesn't love love? Like,
exactly. Who doesn't?
Romance. It's
fun. It's puts you in a good mood.
Spicy, increases that oxytocin. But really, it's important because it affects so many areas of your life. One of the wise older ladies that was in my life before I was getting married, she looked at me and she said that many times your intimate relationship is a direct reflection, or it's a temperature gauge for how your relationship is. And she was just encouraging me that that romance part is it reflects kind of where your relationship is at. And Gideon and I, we, you know, a joke, it was just like connect, and we've got to reconnect, and we feel when there's a disconnect. And the kids feel it, and it affects the whole house. And so we just really want to encourage you with some practical ways, because let's be honest, you have 7 kids. 6 at home.
6 at home. I have years without a babysitter. Years. And you're in that.
I'm in that. I have 2 toddlers. I work from home. Money's tight. Like, you don't have the money to go out all the time for that. Like, we jokingly were like, let's go on it. And I told him yesterday, I was like, it's our grocery shopping date.
There's nothing wrong with that. My favorite date with my husband, we go on a date almost every day, is our 15-minute walk around the neighborhood, because we do have our phones on us, so that if there's an emergency, they can get in touch with us. But that's whenever we sit there, and for 15 minutes we just talk the whole time, and I love it. Sometimes we have a third wheel come along. Oftentimes we have a third wheel come along. But
it's a romance.
They do.
And
sometimes they're walking the dog.
Change your conversation a little bit.
True.
You know, my parents always joke that they go on a dentist date twice a year. They have their dentist date. But we just want to give you guys some practical, like,
that are fun
date
ideas.
ideas that you can do at home that
Yes.
are fun, that are simple, that are not going to cost a lot of money.
Yes.
They're going to be very natural.
Even can do some with your kids because they could. Yeah.
There's
fall
just a
asleep
little
kind
bit
things.
of that intentional piece.
Yes, I'm
It really
excited
helps.
about these. As we were brainstorming,
We had a lot of fun.
we did have a lot
and
of
now
fun.
we're like, oh, we can't wait to do
I
this.
know, and I was like, date nights.
So
We're
we're
having lots of
excited.
them. Yes. So one of them is obvious, but it's what my kids always do for us and what I used to do for my husband. Even whenever they were little, they started doing this. So every time we have our anniversary, our kids have made us a meal of some sort. Now, whenever they were younger,
like your little waiters and everything.
they do. They dress up, they put on music, they set the table, they do all of those things. And then we're supposed to dance afterwards. We get all dressed up for it. And whenever they were little, oh my goodness, it wasn't always edible, but it was so sweet and we had so much fun.
Yeah.
But just doing a little thing like you can get dressed up at home and eat a little later. We used to do that all the time.
Have a romantic dinner at home.
Yes, with the candles, get dressed up if you want to. And whenever we did not have babysitters, we would do that. And I would get it set up and we would just eat after the kids were in bed. My kids go to bed early, so that was an easy thing for us to do. And it was fun. We had a lot of fun. And if I didn't want to cook, get takeout.
Yeah. So some fun food kind of dates idea. You can do a candlelit dinner. You can cook together. You can do an around the world meal.
I thought that sounded so fun.
Like each one of your courses, you just do it from a different part of the world. You can make each other lunch and put spicy notes. If you have a husband that goes off to work or whatever, you can drop some notes.
I used to do that with Eric when he used to go to work.
You can make a heart-shaped pizza together.
Yes, that's a cute idea, heart-shaped pizza.
That's just, and my husband makes phenomenal pizza crust.
And you can have a specific like a specific country that you do. So you can have an Italian night. You pretend that you're going to Paris and have some French food.
Yeah, and you can cook together. Like cooking together, you can just have a lot of fun with cooking.
And your 1 pie, 2 forks idea.
Oh yeah, you can do 1 pie, 2 forks if you're feeling particularly indulgent. Dress up and do takeout.
Yeah.
A theme dinner.
If you like fast food, this is something else we did one time. We went and did like a dollar menu thing when there were dollar menus everywhere, and we would go to one restaurant and another, and so it was like a longer
dollar menus anymore.
$1.50 menu, $2 menu nowadays. But hey, you know,
inflation, gotta love it. Your idea about the PJs and
I thought that one was fun.
PJs and breakfast for dinner.
Yes, and so whenever you get home from work, go ahead and put on your PJs, get all comfy, and have breakfast for dinner, and just enjoy. Pretend it's a Saturday morning on a Friday night.
Just enjoy.
That sounds fun.
Together.
Yeah,
and pretend you're not tired from a long week. So those are some food ideas. Some other ideas. She kind of talked about dancing she do the dance. So you could have like a dance party together.
And they have dance lessons. So Eric and I've done that before. Now
YouTube has everything, guys.
My husband's not a dancer at all. And I'm not a good dancer, but I really enjoy it.
Getting marches.
Well, mine stands really still, but I can kind of sway some. Yeah. But it's still really fun to do it.
It only has like 4/4. It's just that drum, it's that marching beat. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, how about a 1, 2, 3? No, forget it.
But I still have the best time dancing with them.
So you could look up salsa dancing. You could, some blogs were recommending like hip hop. I'm not a hip hopper, so I'm not going to do that. But
yeah,
but
do a different dance. And if your husband loves to dance, hey, y'all could you could probably go a lot longer than we can.
If you play musical instruments, you could play music together. You could do like a karaoke night at home. Like turn on
that would be so fun,
and just fake those air guitar it, just have fun, play a violin.
I liked the one, so this was another idea that we came up with, that you get in a car, even with your kids or your babies, and you go on a drive in the country. They fall asleep in the back, and you get to look at the stars. So it's like you're going out, but it's really free, and you get to be outside. Yeah. If you've got a truck, you could put the tail down, let them have a little nap in their car seats, and have a late night
enjoy a little snuggle session in the back.
Yeah, looking at the stars.
I'm really trying to be good right now, Renee. Okay, so you could do like a spa night.
Yes,
you all could just literally, the Bible talks about washing feet. You could do foot soaks together, and you could wash each other's feet.
Do a couples massage.
Yeah. Oh yes, couples massage. Again, there's tons of YouTube videos you can look up.
Yes.
head or neck
quick, easy.
massage or shoulder, like, and they have so many helpful tips.
Yes.
Um,
Board game nights are fun.
yeah.
And we've done like like an escape room. You can actually get those online and do them at home. So we've done that before, where you
That's so
prep
fun.
it and they have all the different clues and then you go through and figure it out. So
Oh,
we've
yeah,
done
that's so fun.
we've done escape rooms at home, and that's another fun one to
That
do.
would be fun. You could do a movie night. That's very stereotypical, but lots of cuddling.
You could
if
do
you
it
have
differently though. You
if you
could do
have
it like you were a kid. You could build a fort. I
Mhm.
did that recently, and that was fun. You can do. I hate movies, so really that's not my thing.
I had a friend one time, they would do era, like themed era type things. So they would pick a movie from, say, the 50s, and then they would dress up like they were in the 50s, and
that
they
could be
ate
fun.
food that like a diner kind of meal. Like
That would be really fun. Yeah, that's
like
a
they
great
had,
idea.
or they did, if they watched, what was one they did? I think one of my friends did like a Titanic theme one time, and they dressed up for,
Yeah. So
but
you
just
can
whatever.
you can
Get creative.
Get creative. If you don't have a babysitter, but you're creative and artsy and craftsy, you could go crazy with some theme nights, having fun with that. And I like the snuggle outside whenever it's cool outside under a blanket, because I'd love to be outside. So of course that would be one that I would want to do. And we've done that before. We'll put down a blanket in the backyard and cuddle up underneath the blanket and look at the stars and lay down and chat. Once again, no phones and able to talk and be outside.
Another fun idea that kind of continues the romance into the next day, so it's not just like you're done at night, is you could at night take the time to write each other a love letter, and then you read them together in the morning.
I love this
idea. We are going to be doing this one like pronto. Getting night, we actually wrote each other letters for our anniversary, and we used to write each other letters all the time. I'm bringing the practice.
That's what I ask Eric for every year.
So
for my anniversary. That's the present I want from him every year. Is a letter. Yeah,
I just love it, and I love when Gideon puts his love for me into words. I love it. So another idea is you could make pottery together or some other kind of craft. One idea that neither one of us were super keen on, but we know a lot of people, make your bedroom like a fancy hotel room. So get those crisp white sheets, and we don't like white sheets.
I don't like white sheets.
But
if you do, go for it.
make it up like a fancy hotel room. Room service, I guess you could order takeout. I don't know.
Yeah,
get creative with it.
I like the idea too of the waking up, because I like to get up early, and Eric's worked, because Eric works so many hours right now. But I thought this was a good idea, that you wake up early, have breakfast in bed. And if you don't want to wake up early, you could just buy breakfast, bring it back to the bedroom, and put a movie on for the kids or something on Saturday morning, or if they sleep in on Saturday morning, and you just have a couple of hours or an hour in bed.
Talk.
Yeah.
Connect.
Eat your breakfast in bed. That'd be fun. Connect.
Moving on. Other ideas, you can do a virtual museum tour. There are a ton of historical sites now.
And art, you can do art museums. You can do, Eric and I've done a lot of that, because
when virtual concerts.
Yes.
Virtual, like there's so many options for that you can do now virtually.
And since I like to hike, since we've been stuck at home with a sick kid for a little bit, we've been watching videos on different national parks. We watch people hike so we can know which hikes we want to go on.
That's hilarious.
Camping in your backyard, if you've got kids that are old enough, that's something that you can do, and you can have s'mores or something to make it even more fun.
Yep. A virtual double date. So if you have a long distance couple that you're friends with, you could do a virtual double date. You could also, if your husband travels for work, or your wife that travels for work. My husband and I, when we were dating, we actually did a virtual dinner date one time. So you could do that if you guys are a long distance couple.
There's couples quizzes. I like to do those because
you never know what they're gonna add.
They are. And there's an app actually that I've gotten that I'm not going to recommend, because some of the questions are
a little wonky.
You have to skip them, so I'd rather find one.
There's a lot of resources that we have used, but even as we were talking about it, or that we've used, or if we were maybe personally recommending it, we could. But there's something questionable, we're not going to put our stamp.
That's the thing, is that there is. So I guess we need to write something that's not questionable and Christian based. That would be fun.
Yet another product she needs to get on top of. Another idea is you could make a date night jar.
Yes.
So I've seen a lot of couples do these with either popsicle sticks or little cards. And you can just write down 52 ideas.
Mhm.
Put them in there and you have
That is
50
such a great
like for
idea.
every week you have a different date idea.
Yeah.
It also helps to be intentional.
Yes.
Um, my husband and I have such a busy schedule, as you know, that sometimes it's hard for us to, on the same day every week,
Yeah.
make it happen. And so we have been intentional in like one night in the week.
Mhm.
And so we know if by Friday or Saturday night it has happened, then it like
Then that happens, yeah.
that's what's happening.
Yes.
Or like once a month we have a family something that we
Yeah.
do. But be intentional in
Mhm.
this time. Learn each other's love languages,
Yes.
because then you can plan dates that really fit your spouse's love language. If you don't know your spouse's love language, there's a quiz online you can take. There's a great book that Gary Chapman wrote.
Yeah.
and
And a
you could do that
scavenger
for
hunt
date
was the
night.
other one we thought of. If
Ooh,
you're
yeah,
real
that's a good one.
crafty, then you could do, this would be really romantic, but you could do clues about different things that from your marriage
relationship.
history type
Yeah.
thing that they would know where to
Dating
go and get them.
marriage.
And that could be fun. So those are ideas. So our
Romance matters.
Yep. Our challenge this week, be romantic.
Be romantic.
Have at least one date night with your husband. Show your husband a lot of love. Model love for your children so that they can see that. And if you haven't already, like or subscribe to this. It helps us a lot. And my books are available on Amazon or on my website. There's also a blog now that is being posted on somewhat consistently, kind of. So yeah, and you
We'll
can
get
check
there,
it out.
guys.
Trainingthemwisely.com.
Also, comment below if you're watching this or if you see the post on Facebook or social media, wherever. Comment below with your favorite date night idea. We would love to hear, or
Get some inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's hard to get creative with date night ideas. So drop your favorite below, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.